Oh. Hello, everybody. If you've been here for a while, you'll remember Garrett from about a year ago. And where we did a few videos together, including you going into town and talking about fast food, I think. Yeah. So you did a program. You were here for 4 months last year.
Yes.
And like Bilbo, there and back again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You went back.
I have returned.
Yes. So I think what we have is a unique opportunity here to hear from somebody who went really deep into living in the woods, went back to civilization, felt the power of civilization to kind of take us over, and then made the choice, a conscious choice, to come back into the woods, to reintegrate and be able to go back into civilization a second time, but now with more knowledge of what happens in that transition.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what happened when you went back?
So, I think where I should begin is probably a month prior to leaving. And I remember the month that leading up to my departure, I built up a lot of expectations about what I was gonna see when I came back, or what I was just feeling very inspired, but I didn't know. I kind of let the expectations of that inspiration guide me, and this kind of led me astray, because when I came back, I went through a pretty intense homecoming. I went through a breakup. Basically, when I got home, I went.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, and then I started working at a wood mill right away, and I didn't really have time to reintegrate a lot of the things that I actually learned here, going back in, because I was so flooded with the downfall of all of my hopes that I had built up while I was here. They kind of were still possible, but I think a lot of the emotions that I was feeling kind of guided me through the rest of my time. And yeah, but I won't say it's all bad. I did a very good job of staying up on my fitness when I got back, of cooking meals, I still had the mindset, but I couldn't build up more while I was away. And that's the key, is when you leave this, is to build upon what you've learned here.
Yeah. And you went on to college, and that brought new challenges.
Yes.
Okay.
So I worked at the wood mill for about 2 weeks, and then I decided to leave. I had just gotten accepted into college here in Wisconsin, and decided to go to another factory. I decided to go to a cheese factory, so I was cutting cheese for 3 months. Intense experience. Not for me. No, not for me. But I had to go get some money for college, and so I took this path, and I got to college, and it was a very different experience coming, because I came during the second semester, and so everyone had kind of already found their friend groups and stuff, and so I was kind of this weird hippie coming into the fray of things. But overall, it was a great experience. I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot. I didn't necessarily learn a lot at college, but I learned a lot about like a lot of life lessons while I was there. And yeah, I needed to see the other side of the coin, because coming out of high school, I came here right away, and I never got to see that the flip side of the coin.
Sure. Okay.
So.
And food was challenging there.
Oh yeah. Lots of Ben and Jerry's, cheesecake.
Oh man.
Oh man, good stuff. But that is my kryptonite. Lots of pizza, lots of pizza.
Oh.
But yeah, the cafeteria there, meals were like $1.50 for lunch. You can get anything you want. So that was like, oh, I need to get as much food for the money that I'm spending here. You know.
Sure.
The whole system is kind of built for you to just like, it is built upon fear. Like, I was always afraid that I wasn't getting my money's worth because I had worked so hard for 3 months slicing cheese to be there, that it was like, oh, I gotta get this $1.50's gotta get me as much as I can
Much
take.
food as you can get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's so telling how that works, is because it goes out to a lot of other things within how we live. You know, we take. We got to get our money's worth from.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
How that is kind of built into the system where it's always a trade-based instead of a gift-based system, and so we always want to be in a net
top.
gain,
Yeah.
right? And so there's always this thought of how can I get more.
Yeah.
You got out of school, and so fitness had taken a downturn, food had taken a downturn, mentality.
My mentality was all over the place. I was so confused and scared about life, honestly. Like, I came away from school knowing that there was nothing really there for me right now. I'm gonna leave it open for the future, because you never know what the future has in plan for you. But there were all these social pressures that I was feeling coming back home, because I come from a small town, and if you get stuck in the small town, well, you're a failure. And sort of that really held a lot of weight for me now. Not so much anymore, but yeah, I was very fearful. I drank a lot, smoking again. Yeah, I picked up some bad stuff, but.
And you decided at some point you were going to come back out to the woods for a month. I hope it's okay to share. You got right up to the couple days beforehand and then decided, no, not going to the woods.
Yeah.
And what was happening there, and how did you switch and change your mind?
There was a lot of things happening at that time. My friends had all like come back from school. I was just kind of like having fun with them or whatever, and I was just gonna kind of let things. I was just gonna kind of ignore whatever it was that was telling me to come back out, because I felt like I was done with this adventures. I felt that they were over. I felt like it was just time to
buckle down
and become a cog, and then I took a walk out on the Ice Age Trail.
Yeah.
And a lot of things happened. a hawk came down and dived on me a few times, and I had some cool experiences out there, and I was just like, you know what, I gotta call Kenton. And I called you, and that was that.
Now you've been out here for a little more than a week, and you seem pretty different than when you came here.
Yeah.
So what's been happening now that you're back in the woods?
I've just been getting into a lot of Alan Watts. I think that's really what... I was listening to a lot of Alan Watts in college and stuff. And I was reading a few of his stuff. But, yeah, I just came back, and it kind of just puts it back into you. Like, that you sort of have this new trust in yourself, because out here, like, there's no controls on, like, you know, the weather. You don't choose you don't click which channel you want the weather to be at, you know.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You let things flow more, whereas back there, you're always gonna want to be in control. You're always gonna want the success. Being removed from that sort of puts you in a different place. It's like, wait, it makes you think about things at a distance.
Okay.
And it makes you come at things with different emotions. Less fear and more trust, more love and less hate. And yeah, it's been working its way through my mind.
You are going to be heading home again after a month, and then embarking on some new adventures. Why is it going to be different this time than it was last time?
I think because, I know because I've been through this before, you know? It's familiar, and this time I don't have the built up expectations, and I don't have I'm not grasping onto anything. It's fluid. And I think I will have more of a base to jump off of now. Coming back and relearning and gaining those pathways again that you sort of forget about when you're back there.
I did an interview with Miriam Lanswood. I think I told you about her. She and her partner lived out in the woods in New Zealand for 8 years, and she had a lot to say about going back into civilization, coming back out into the woods, and that transition. And part of our conversation was about all the things that are in our civilized world that we don't even realize the power they have over us, and how they affect our mental state, our emotional state.
And I picked up on this I have that notebook or whatever. Yeah. And one day I was just writing down foods, like all the foods that I missed. And then but at the same time I sort of paid attention to how each one made me feel when I conjured the image of it in my mind. And I found that whenever I was putting down the cakes or the pies, it was more of it tended to bring out, like, I can't even explain the emotion, but it got my mind spinning more so, like
just thinking about these foods,
thinking about these foods would, they weren't necessarily bad, but they would still have the power to take me where they wanted me to go, rather than...
Interesting.
Yeah. It was very interesting how that played out. It's-
No, a lot of people, when they come into the woods, they spend enough time there, they start to get kind of mystical. And you said you've been reading some Alan Watts, Tao Te Ching. In brief, because this is the kind of thing you could go on, and it's really hard to explain these things, but
yeah.
what's been unfolding for you there?
Just lots of compassion, lots of love. Waking up and just being grateful for the world, for this gift that I've been given, and it's really been seeing it as a gift rather than a burden has been allowing me to really makes me feel more powerful. It helps me feel like I have a trust, and I'm not alone when I'm alone. I don't feel alone anymore when I'm out in the woods. Because the sort of thing is like, yeah, I think
Yeah. And you're saying even just sitting out here alone, you're not feeling alone.
Yeah, I don't need that like oh, I gotta have a group of people around me. I need social bonds. I need those things, but they're not. This has been giving me more influence over my own life.
Are you feeling that connection with
Yeah.
all this?
Yeah. I just see being able to see things for what they are rather than what I think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. That's, it's always fun to see. Okay, I guess what I should say is that it's been an honor to work with you because, you've been one of those people that you had a lot of struggles out here.
Yeah.
But you trusted enough in what we're doing out here and trusted enough in me to come to me with your sorrows and tears and everything that you were facing.
Yeah.
And had that trust. And from that, I've been able to witness you over and over and over again overcome challenges that honestly would break most people, and send them packing. And to witness that strength being built, and I think seeing that power of surrender emerging in you, this is kind of what I always dream of with this program, is that people will, be coming into this place where you're coming into, where you have not only physical skills, survival skills and stuff to take with you,
Yeah.
that will allow you to kind of go anywhere you want in the world, but more importantly, that mental aspect.
I mean, for me, Rewild You is not. It's not about the survival skills. For me, it's like, it's difficult to describe because everything, even though you're doing those survival tasks, what you're really doing is you're working on you. It's kind of cliche to say, but it's not. You're not working for anyone else. You're sort of allowing yourself to cultivate these mental strengths that will serve you in other places. It's more of surviving civilization and surviving being in the human world rather than surviving in the woods. But being in the woods is fun.
Yeah.
But the real challenge is when you get back.
It's funny, I don't think I've told you this, that we are just about to come out with an online course, and it's called Surviving Civilization.
Oh.
Because remember Tim?
Yeah.
And he would say, this is tough out here, the stuff we do, but when we
Right.
go back there, that's when
Mhm.
it really gets
Yeah.
tough. Which is so weird because we think we've created this culture that's supposed to be all comfortable and nice, and it's where we
Yeah.
all live, and it's scary to go out into
Yeah.
the woods. And then to hear from somebody,
Yeah.
it's actually easier.
It's way easier
out
out here.
And you're saying, I mean,
Yeah.
when you went back to college and back
Mhm.
to the same thing,
Yeah. Same.
like,
Yeah.
whoa, our culture,
It's built to make it's built to make life easy for a very few amount of people, but everyone else is supposed to survive, to live. And I guess if you want to survive, that's okay, but I like thriving,
yeah.
Yeah. And that's what this is about. It's like thriving and at the same time surviving. Yeah, the things that are supposed to make our lives easier actually regress us from the things that are built into us.
The best parts of ourselves, I feel
yeah,
like, right?
yeah.
And we trade all that for like Hot Pockets. And,
Garbage.
but we don't even realize it because we're so immersed in that life
Yeah.
that there's no other. So that's why I think this is valuable, to be able to hear from someone like you who has been 4 months in the woods, back to civilization, a month in the woods, and a month to you, not a long time
Yeah.
at this point, but
Yeah.
for most people, they're not going to ever, we're never going to spend a whole month in the woods.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing some parts of your journey, and I hope we maybe do another video and hear from you more in a couple
Yeah.
of weeks. For now, any advice to those of us that are out there and we are we're hearing this message, but we are more trapped than you are in our culture. I've got $50,000 of debt from college. I've got credit card debt. I've got medical bill debt. I own a house. I've got a family that just, loves to watch TV all day. How can that person, get a taste of what you're talking about or wake that part of themselves up? Is there hope, or is there any advice you'd have?
That's a heavy situation, but start out by trust yourself, and start by loving others is the first step, and to realize that things are just sort of looking at life as sort of a game has helped me a lot, because granted I have advantages. I don't have the debt, and most people are forced to play the role, but knowing that your role can change and the rules are there, but you can make your own as well, and following those, I think that's the way to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, my friend. Oh, it's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
All right. Well, share your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I think it's a rare opportunity to hear from someone that has been there and back again. And so we'll revisit this in a couple of weeks, hopefully. All right. Can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments. Love to you all.